until then, I must tell you, I was an avid pill popper.
Oh,
Because for the longest time, I used to suffer from debilitating migraine. And migraine that used to last me anywhere between 2 hours in a day, going all the way up to 16 to 17 hours.
wow.
And this used to happen, and it's not as if it's a one, I never had a single 1 day headache. My headaches were for a minimum of 3 to 4 days in a month, and they could go as long as 3 weeks in a month.
And this was for how many years?
8 years. And by 10 in the morning, I would have popped in 6 crosins
Goodness.
with zero impact.
Wow.
Yeah. So what did I do? Initially, all of us will go to a GP. Didn't work. So then I went to, so I live in Mumbai. So went to a headache specialist. Mumbai has headache specialists. So went to a headache specialist. Then after some time, so I used to be, and I am an OCD. So I used to have a diary where I tracked, my frequency of headache, intensity of a headache, possible triggers that I thought were causing the headache. And from a headache specialist, I went to a neurologist at a very famous hospital in Mumbai. He was the head of the neurology department because we thought it was something to do with that. Did MRIs, scans, nothing turned out. Then I went to an orthopedist thinking maybe it's just very tight muscles in the cervical and the lumbar area, which is triggering the pain, who put me on his own set of medicines. Um, then went to a gastroenterologist thinking it was triggered because I used to suffer from acidity as well. So the acidity and the migraine used to get into a vicious loop. So I thought, went to a gastro specialist. So between the GP, the headache specialist, the gastro guy, and the neurologist, they all put me on various cocktails, but they were all fundamentally the same. I'd always had an inherent interest in medicine. In the past, I used to work for Johnson and Johnson, so had some basic understanding and always used to look at what these drugs are. So between them, it was just there was just no difference in that intensity, frequency, etc. If at all, my GP was doing somewhat better than the rest of them, but I faced the severe side effects, which included so they even put me on antidepressants or antipsychotics, and not psychotics, sorry, antidepressants. I was shocked because I used to always come up and read. At that time, there was no Google. So there used to be a book of pharmacology called MIMS, which I used to read. So I figured that they were giving me an antidepressant because they were trying to see an antidepressant where you're trying to relax the person. So all they were doing is to relax my muscles and therefore ease the tension and therefore give me pain relief. So I understood that part of why they were doing what they were doing.